The president returning from Camp David Friday, where he met with his national security advisors amid the recent terror attacks in Spain. So with ISIS taking responsibility for yet another attack, the need to take out the terror group has never been more critical. But are more troops on the ground in the Middle East the answer? Joining me now to debate that, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Waltz, a former Green Beret commander, counterterrorism advisor to Vice President Cheney and Fox News contributor, as well as Jim Hansen, president of Security Studies, who led counterterrorism operations in the U.S. Army Special Forces. Gentlemen, you obviously have amazing backgrounds. You're the people to talk to about this. Michael, let's begin with you.
Thanks, Todd.
What should happen?
Well, you know, we're going to continue to have these types of attacks, whether they're Barcelona, London, you know, sadly, I think eventually the United States, for some time. Our brave law enforcement officers, our Homeland Security can only bat 1,000 for so long before these types of things get through. We can't have perfect border security, and the terrorists have figured out the perfect weapon, which is an automobile that needs no training for a terrorist to use. So we have to continue to get at the sanctuaries overseas, both offensively with hard power and at the ideology of extremism with soft power. That does not mean hundreds of thousands of American boots on the ground, but it does mean advisors and support, whether it's in Syria or Afghanistan or Yemen, much like we've done in Colombia against the communist groups, the FARC, and much like we've done in the Philippines and other places all over the world over the last 70 years. The bottom line is, do we want to fight them over there by, with, and through our local allies, or do we want to just, you know, fight them at home, sadly?
Okay, Jim, your response, because your opinion on this matter is slightly different than Mr. Waltz.
I think the thing is, we can't kill our way to victory. And as Colonel Waltz said, we don't want to have a massive U.S. presence. But we do need to make sure in places where we just defeated, we're about to cut down the black flag of the ISIS caliphate in Syria. Now we need to make sure that there is not a follow-on insurgency. They devastated the mostly Sunni areas of Iraq and Syria. Now we need to make sure that the Iranians don't use that vacuum to create a land bridge to the Mediterranean. That would be the first thing we need to stop. The second is to make sure there's not a follow-on Sunni insurgency. And to do that, I think we need to bring in some of our allies. President Trump's new friends, the Saudis, who have a border with Iraq, and also the Jordanians, have a dog in this fight. It's their neighborhood. Why don't they run some highways up into the Sunni areas, bring some reconstruction in, and potentially bring some peacekeeping troops, and let's let Sunni troops pacify the Sunni areas, because those folks don't trust the Baghdad government, which is dominated by Iran and the Shia militias.
Quick question to the both of you. What does this presidency do? Michael?
Well, Todd, I think actually Jim and I are in violent agreement across a number of things. But the key is the United States has to lead this effort, whether it's a Sunni coalition on the ground or whether it's, 3,000 or 4,000 more advisors in Afghanistan to bolster the Afghan army in their fight. I think we're in agreement that the United States has to take a leadership role by, with, and through our local allies.
Jim, quickly.
I think the president is on the right track. He figured out that Iran is the major problem in the area. We talked with some of his folks doing this planning, and they're looking at Iran as the ones they need to push back against.
Michael, Jim, thank you very much. Debate that we will be having
Todd.
a long time to come.